Hi guys, this is third video from Pips. Pips is PrepLeaf interview preparation series. I just named it because I just can't speak it in one go. Any which way, so today we are looking at the question strengths and weaknesses. This is a very important question again. In fact, all 7 questions that I'm covering in this video series are important, but this is specifically a very important question because it gives them a good understanding of who you are as a person. Like generally what team managers see in their team is that different people have different strengths and weaknesses, so that they have a collection of people. So it's not like that one day everybody is down. Like yes, if some day somebody is having a bad day, the other person can take up for it. Pretty much like in cricket, somebody doesn't fire today, the other person takes up the responsibility. So that's why they ask you about your strengths and weaknesses, and it's a very important question. But before diving deeper into the question, I would just like to tell you a little bit about PrepLeaf. So we are a placement preparation company. We help you prepare for placements with the help of free aptitude courses, subscription-based mentor-driven courses that give you industry-relevant projects and the skills needed to crack the interview, and a post-grad program that can help you get a job. And you don't have to pay anything until you get a job. You only pay when you get a job as a part of your salary. So that is all about us. So I told you why they ask this question, and generally after this I have the slide why they ask this question, but I told you that this is a simple reason why they ask this question. So I'm just gonna directly go to how you answer this question. But before that, yes, as always, I forgot this slide. Alternative forms. So one alternative form is how do you overcome your weakness? And this question is exactly the same. This question is exactly the same as the question, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Because when you are mentioning your weaknesses, you always have to mention how you overcome your weakness. Okay? Or okay, you don't have to necessarily mention how you overcome your weakness, but you have to be prepared with the answer. And you have to convince the interviewer that it's a weakness, but you're kind of working on it. Okay? Don't try to immediately fix it, but yes, give them some hope that you're working on it. Okay? Don't leave it in the hanging that yes, it's a weakness, I know, but I'm not gonna work on it. You know, it's kind of, it is like that with me. Like nobody wants to work with a rigid person. You have to be flexible. You have to be willing to change. The second alternative question, which is not so much an alternative question, but it is an alternative question, is tell us one time you failed or succeeded. Now, success and failures are events. Strengths and weaknesses are part of your personality. They are characteristics of a personality. Those two are fundamentally different, but it's kind of related because your strength leads to a successful event and your weakness leads to a failure. So these can be related. So your answer to the question, tell us the one time you failed, will be quite related to your strengths and weakness. And at times, if you are too skilled, and this I will cover in my interview tips and tricks video, that if you are too skilled, if you have had too much practice, if you have had like 5-6 interviews by now in the placement process, you kind of get comfortable with the interview process. So you know what the interviewer is asking, what is he trying to gauge. And if and when you get that understanding, you can merge this question and the main question, what is your strength and weakness? So you can relate the property and the characteristic of your personality with the event that will follow. And you can answer both the questions in one go. Yes, that is kind of jumping the gun. Yes, that is kind of over smart. Yes, that is kind of answering more than what the interviewer asked. But if you can sum it up very nicely in 30 seconds, if you can sum it up very quickly in 20 seconds or 30 seconds and convey what you want to say, then you should go for it. Because what it essentially does is it finishes the chit chat from the interview and it gives you more time to crack the technical interview, because technical is what is gonna get you the job. HR is supportive, yes, but technical is relatively more important. So for you to have more time for technicals, you should, or you can try to merge this question with the other question. Any which ways, this question is also a very related and a very, very important question. Best and worst thing about you that a teammate will say. And this kind of goes back to your strength and weakness. You should center center your strengths and weaknesses around what might be the answer to this question, because Believe it or not, you don't tell your strengths and weaknesses what you perceive them, but how others perceive it. You might think you are a very diligent person, you might think you are a very intelligent person, but do others agree? And it's generally good to quote them. And that's my next point to you, that quotes and quotes. Always quote someone. Quote a good personality, Barack Obama. Do not say Donald Trump, please. But yeah, Barack Obama, Mahatma Gandhi, other Nobel laureates, Sir Roger Penrose. People who have intellect, people who have achieved something significant, who have created an impact in the society. Quote them. It tells how diverse your personality is. It tells you have expanded your horizons in the last 4 years of your studies. And it tells that you are an interesting person. You know, you read, you're a knowledgeable, intellectual person. So do that. Quote people, quote to your teammates. That gives you a sense of credibility, that you listen to your teammates, that you're open to feedback, and that you are not telling your own perception, but how others perceive you. So do say quotes. Show positivity and enthusiasm. Show that yes, you have a weakness, but you're willing to overcome it. Do not be bogged down by your weakness. Do not feel that you are somewhat a lesser person because you have a weakness. We are humans. Every human is characteristically flawed. It's okay to have a weakness. Everybody has a weakness. Superheroes have their weaknesses. So Superman had his weakness. So that's fine. Play with your weakness. Confess it. It's about confessing it, admitting it, that yes, you can falter. And that's what they want to see. Focus on your strengths. Yes, it's a question of strengths and weaknesses, but generally in these questions, weaknesses are just a disguised strength. And I will come to that how. I will come to how you make a strength into a weakness, or how do you list a weakness. But let's just say that you have to focus more on your strengths. Say a weakness that doesn't hurt the job. You cannot say that I'm not a conscientious person. Conscientious means a timely person, a disciplined person. Because if you're not a disciplined person, if you do not QC your reports well, quality check your reports well, if you are not on time, if you're not doing these things, then you're not a good person for the job. I know this is a weakness for myself. I confessed it in my interview. I till date face it in my job, problems for it, and I confess it to my manager that I'm sorry, I'm willing to improve. And that's fine. My manager understands that yes, it's okay, people can be like that, but if they're willing to work on it, that's what matters. It matters, your attitude matters. Yes, weaknesses are going to be there, but you can work on them. Then say strengths that support the job, like I have a good hold over data. That's a very good insight. Like, I like working with numbers. So if you like working with numbers, you will always be comfortable looking at big chunks of data, millions and millions rows of data. So that comes in good as a data analyst. I like abstract concepts and formulations. That comes in handy with coding, maybe, I don't know. But yes, that strengths that support your job. Don't mention interests or dislike. It's not a question about interests or what you like or what you not. It's just a simple question about strengths and weaknesses. Talk about only those. And as I said, weakness is a strength in disguise. And I'll give you a very good example of how to sum up this answer. So whenever I was asked, what's your weakness? I had a very simple answer. Carl Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist, a very famous, influential 18th century psychiatrist, once said, all forms of addiction is bad. All forms of addiction is bad, whether the narcotic be alcohol, drugs, or idealism. And what I want to say is that sometimes I tend to go overboard with perfectionism. I tend to devote more time to my work than required for marginal improvements. And these marginal improvements not only hurt my productivity, but my efficiency and my ability to deliver on timelines. And that I would rate as my biggest weakness. Okay? And if you look at it, This is the quote: every form of addiction is bad, no matter whether the narcotic be alcohol, morphine, or idealism. And you can find numerous such quotes. You can find numerous such quotes from amazing people out there. Einstein had these, Sir Roger Penrose has this, and all these people. Just go and look for quotes that you relate to and pick one and try to position it in a manner so that you can use it as a strength or a weakness. Okay? Some sample answers. So I'm a scary fast learner. I have acquired some of the most important skills that aid me in my work over a span of a week. Example, I learned SQL in 3 hours for a project that I did in my internship. That's one of my strengths. But that can also be my weakness. I'm a scary fast learner, yes, but it backfires sometimes. Teammates have been insecure with the pace which I was proceeding, creating additional performance pressure for them. So instead of flying solo, I decided to teach them. Yes, this, why do I have it in red? Because that brings me to my next point, and that is the do's and don'ts. Do not try to fix your weakness. They're just trying to ask, what's your weakness? They didn't ask you to fix it. Unless they ask you to fix it, don't go by yourself and fix it yourself. Okay? Give it time. It's just about a weakness. Do not say this, that I tried to teach them, or do not try to fix your weakness. Everybody has weaknesses. It's just about a confession. Okay? So, keynotes here, do's. A bad outcome with a good habit is a weakness. A bad outcome with a good habit is a weakness. I am a scary fast learner, but it created additional performance pressure for my teammates. So that's a weakness. If I say I can't deliver reports on time, or I'm not a timely person, and that always makes me miss deadlines, that's a bad outcome with a bad habit. That's not a weakness. That's my ticket to be thrown out of the interview room. You do not want that. You do not want to be thrown out of the interview room. So what you essentially want is, you want a bad outcome with a good habit. Then a good outcome with a good habit is a strength. So this is a good template for you to follow that you can use to create your answers. Mean what you say. Provide quotes from greats or colleagues. Somebody who is a great in their field or a colleague. Practice at least 2 of each, strengths and weaknesses, because they can just simply ask, give me 2 strengths of yours and 2 weaknesses of yours. Cover 2 questions. As I said, you can cover 2 questions here, failure and success. That totally depends on your skill level. If you're not prepared for it, do not go for it. Don't feel pressured that you have to cover 2 questions, but if you can, do go for it. Do not try to act over smart. Sometimes people, what they do is, like in the event of trying to sell their weakness, trying to disguise their strength as a weakness, or trying to sell their strength as a weakness, what they tend to do is they tend to act over smart, and they actually don't even disguise it. They just say it as a strength. And then the interviewer is like, what are you even saying? Like, I just asked you a weakness and you said a strength. And that just pisses them off very badly. So do not try to act over smart with the interviewer. You have been asked a simple question, answer it simply. It's okay to confess your problems. It's okay to confess your weaknesses. Do not forget to disguise your weakness if you are trying that act. Do not try to fix your weakness, as I said. Say more than one of each. Yes, do not say more than one of each unless asked. So don't say more than one of each, and don't play devil's advocate. Like, don't go on about, criticizing your own self, critiquing your own self, and not just going on and on and on and saying that I'm just not worth it. And you're not there to turn yourself down. You're just there to make a simple confession that I have just one weakness. Okay? So make it simple. Do not try to put yourself down. Do not try to, not sell yourself. Do sell yourself, but don't oversell yourself. That's the point here. Okay, that's all for the video today. Now, just in the end, I wanted to share these links with you, as always, in the end of every video. So these are all the links on our YouTube page. These are free webinars that we have held in the past. This is a playlist of 7 puzzles, 7 most asked puzzles from our co-founder. HR interview webinar, skill-based webinar for SQL, Excel, and PropStat, and etc. Then role-based prep for quant, product and finance roles, and generalist prep for resume preparation, basic and advanced recruitment, onboarding, and all those things that you might want to know about placements. Apart from that, we have courses. We have interview prep courses. You can check out those courses on prepleaf.com. Consider like, sharing and subscribing if you like the video. And yes, ask your questions in the comment, and do leave your answers to this question about your strengths and weakness in the comments. I will critique all your answers in the comment as always. Thank you for watching.